Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Professor Hank, and in this video we're going to go over the Kotlin when statement and give you a couple examples of how to use it. Basically, you can think of the when statement in Kotlin as another form of or similar to a switch statement in Java. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so you can see that I've got my Kotlin project already set up. And we're going to need a main function for our program. So let's go ahead and include one of those. And in order to use this when statement, we need to use the when keyword, right? So when I say when, I mean when, right? The when statement requires the when keyword. And this is similar to a switch statement in Java or C++. All right, so let's see an example of this thing, and I'll give you a couple of examples. I mean, it's an alternative, and another thing to keep in mind too is this is kind of an alternative, or can be an alternative to, if else, or if else if, depending on how you use it. All right, so here's what you do. Okay, so we're going to have some variable that we're going to need to assign a value to. And this is a decision structure, right? It is a decision structure. Okay, so we'll have some kind of variable. Here I'll call this x, okay, and I'll assign it 99 for this example. Okay, and then we'll have our when. All right, so what we'll do is we'll have a when statement, and we're going to have inside of parentheses some variable. Okay, so we'll do something like when x, right? Because that's what we're dealing with here. We'll say when x. And then we're going to want to assign that to the result of this decision to another variable, which we'll call y. Okay, so we'll say var y equals when. Okay, and so we'll have an opening and closing curly brace. So you've got your when block, okay, and then here we're going to start adding the options. Add the options. If this was C++, Java, you'd have like cases, right? Well, here you don't have cases, you just list the options. So let's say that we were going to convert integers into Roman numerals. So let's use a smaller number here, about 5. Okay, so you do something like this. You would say 1, and then you have an arrow, and then your option. Okay, so the what you want to be assigned to your variable. So in this case, what we want to assign to y. Okay, so 2 would be Roman numeral 2. 3 would be Roman numeral 3. 4 would be Roman numeral 4, and 5 would be Roman numeral 5. Okay, so we got something like that. So let's go ahead and print out our result. Print y, okay. And there's one more thing that we have, right? See that little red squiggle here? So you have to specify an else. Okay, so you do something like this, else, maybe we say something like undefined. Okay, and so that else kind of behaves like default in C++ or Java. Okay, so that way if there's no match for any of these guys, then we kick down to the else. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. We'll run it and see what we got. Okay, so you can see there's the 5 in the output, right? Because we assigned x to 5, or 5 to x, I should say, right? Now let's see what happens if we do 2. Okay, I mean, it's a very simple structure. I mean, it kind of looks, I don't know, it kind of looks neat, it kind of looks maybe cleaner than a switch statement. I don't know. What do you think? But anyway, so we saw the output there for our 2. Okay, but let me give you another example. Okay, another example is that you can, because you have that drop through logic, like you have in like you have in C++ or Java, right? Where depending on certain values, you might be able to have multiple values that get triggered by your switch. Okay, so you can kind of do something like that here. Maybe not exactly, but kind of, right? So what we can do is we can create a range. We can use Kotlin's range abilities. So we can say in range of 1 through 10, say. Okay, so if we do that, then any integer from 1 through 10 will be triggered, will be a match. So then we can say something like in range 1 through 10. Okay. Then maybe we want to have in range of 11 through 20 or something. Okay, and then you just do your little thing here, in range 11 through 20. Okay, and then we can have our little else. We can say, not in range at all. Okay, and so then let's experiment. Let's go ahead and try that. See what happens. So it's almost kind of like this drop through logic, right? I mean, you can mimic that in. Oh, I should probably print out the result, huh? So we'll print our y. So you can mimic that here. It's not exactly the same, but it's almost kind of cleaner in a way, right? Because you'd have to have all of these individual cases in C++, right? Or Java. So let's try another one here. Let's try 11. So it's kind of cool, right? You can do that. Okay, so then you can see there's a range, and then we have our else to catch everything else, right? So there you go, not in range at all. So one more example that I will do is something like this, where we can specify another series, maybe a series of characters, for example. So maybe we can have A, G, T, okay, and then we can have our arrow with that, and then we can do something like print line A. You know what we'll do this. We'll do X, okay, and that'll print out. That'll go ahead and print out, the contents of X. So what are we going to put in X here? This time we'll put in G. Okay, and so we still have to have our little dangling else here. Okay, and we can say else by whatever. I'm just trying to make up something. Else print by, right? Or print line. Okay, so you have options is what I'm trying to show you here. Okay, so let's go ahead and test that. So we should see what G on the screen, right? And there it is, because that G is a match of one of these items in this series. Okay, so it's another way you can kind of do the drop through logic as well. Because anything that matches A, G, or T, right? Any of those inputs, like, if you were asking the user to enter in some, characters or something, or maybe you had a menu-driven program and you wanted to say, hey, option A, option G, option T, and they choose either of those, then, you print out, whatever. You have the logic that responds. So you can kind of mimic that drop-through behavior as well. Now, of course, if we have a value in X that doesn't match any of those three, then we're going to kick down to the else. So there you go. Okay, so that's going to bring this video to a close. If you're a student of mine, you have questions about any of the topics that were covered in this video, feel free to drop me an email, stop by my office hours, or hit me up on Zoom online. For the rest of you, if you thought the video was useful, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you thought the video sucked, you got the thumbs down button as well. Consider supporting the channel in various ways. You can subscribe, you can join as a member with additional perks for as little as 99 cents. Leave a comment, whatever. But most of all, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.